This is part 13 and the last of a series of videos following the course of HMS Prince of Wales, which deployed on an 8-month mission to lead an international task force to the Indo-Pacific named as UK Carrier Strike Group 25. Its mission, called Operation High Mast, began in April 2025 and will end in December. In the last video, the British Carrier Strike Group, led by HMS Prince of Wales, conducted a series of missions as part of exercise Neptune Strike with Italian aircraft carrier ITS Cavour, functioning as the flagship of Italy's own carrier strike force. One of the highlights of this multi-mission exercise, which began on the 17th of November, was the cross-decking operations between the two carriers, with both carriers swapping flight crew, pilots and each other's F-35B Lightning II jets, with up to 4 of these jets and pilots at any one time operating and integrating with their hosts. The British and Italian F-35B pilots flew joint high-tempo training missions from the decks of the carriers positioned in the Mediterranean Sea to NATO countries as far as Romania. On the 22nd of November 2025, the UK flagship HMS Prince of Wales completed all her NATO exercise Neptune Strike commitments. It was now time for her ship's crew and her naval escorts to finally head home. The British carrier on this day began the process to disembark Italian and British F-35B jets. The Italian jets will be back at their home base within hours. The British jets, however, will depart in groups of 4, each flight supported by air-to-air refuelling tankers as they head back to the UK. The first flight of 4 British jets, as seen here, are the first 4 to head home. Their 8-month mission over. It will take several days for all 24 F-35B to return home. Here, in this new footage, filmed 22nd November, we can see the first 4 jets taking on fuel off a KC-2 Voyager Airbus, a multi-role tanker and transport aircraft. Tail number ZZ330. The multi-role tanker is based at RAF Brize Norton. This first flight of 4 F-35B jets from the Royal Air Force 617 Squadron, the Dambusters, were refuelled over various locations including Mallorca, Ibiza and the coast of Santander, with a final refuelling above Land's End. The flight home will cover a distance of approximately 1,900 kilometres or 1,180 miles, and will likely take somewhere between 3 to 4 hours to reach RAF Marnham, 617 Squadron's home base. The timings are dependent on wind speeds and the air-to-air refuelling efficiency of 4 F-35Bs, which typically requires each pilot to reduce their aircraft speed to 500 km an hour or 310 miles per hour, all while keeping the aircraft steady and receiving instructions from the Voyager's Mission Systems Operator, or MSO. A second flight, conducted on the same day, took off from the deck of HMS Prince of Wales. These 4 British F-35B jets are assigned to 809 Naval Air Squadron, the Immortals, and will be refuelled by a second KC-2 Voyager Airbus ZZ331. Both the F-35B flights will be supported all the way to RAF Marnham, where both squadrons are based.
Clear contact left, 56.
55, still on the right.
55, clear contact right.
Clear contact right, 55.
56, complete on the left.
56, disconnect.
Disconnect, 56. 56 to stern left.
56, maintain.
Maintain, 56.
55, indicating full.
55, full on the right.
55, disconnect.
Disconnect, 55.
The clouds below the F-35B stealth fighters begin to turn grey as they approach the British coastline, somewhere above the Celtic Sea. As they approach the British coastline, dropping from 25,000 feet to 15,000 feet above Land's End, The weather has changed, with strong gusts and heavy rain awaiting the fighter jets at RAF Marnham. It's 23rd of November. HMS Prince of Wales is still a long way from home as the carrier seen here is firing a gun salute to mark her arrival into Gibraltar. She is filmed carrying far less of her F-35B jets. The British carrier left Gibraltar late evening on the 26th of November. On the 27th of November, in the early morning light off the coast of Portugal, the flight deck crew began to launch her remaining 617 Squadron RAF and 809 Naval Air Squadron F-35B Lightning II jets. The pilots' destination was back home to their home base at RAF Marnham and back to their families. On the 29th of November, HMS Prince of Wales finally approached the United Kingdom coastline, somewhere several miles off the southwest coast, within the natural harbour of Plymouth Sound. This put the carrier's helicopters within easy range of their assigned home bases of Royal Naval Air Station Culross and Royal Naval Air Station Yeovilton. Aircrew from 820 and 814 Naval Air Squadrons, who provided Merlin Mark II helicopters, returned to family and friends at Royal Naval Air Station Culross, while an element of the Commando Helicopter Force 845 Naval Air Squadron's Merlin Mark IV 4A helicopters, which provided support to 3 Commando Brigade Royal Marines with troop and supply transport, and 815 Naval Air Squadron, the Royal Navy's primary unit for the Augusta Westland Wildcat HMA-2 maritime attack helicopters, returned to Royal Navy Air Station Yeovilton. On November the 30th, 2025, HMS Dauntless was the first ship from the UK Carrier Strike Group to arrive in the Solent. She appeared across the horizon at sunrise at 7:55 AM. She was joined by 3 tugs, who escorted her into Portsmouth Harbour, with the tugs at port and starboard spraying plumes of water from their onboard fire hoses. Just several minutes behind HMS Dauntless, the Norwegian frigate HMS Roald Amundsen arrived into Portsmouth. As part of the UK's Carrier Strike Group 25, she had provided vital anti-submarine and surface defence throughout the 8-month operation. The frigate travelled farther east than any Royal Norwegian Navy ship in history, and she will ultimately be the last warship from the Carrier Strike Group to reach her home port. HMS Dauntless high mast operations are nearly over. In the last 8 months, the Type 45 destroyer has provided vital air defence for the carrier HMS Prince of Wales, protecting the task group from aerial threats. The ship was greeted by thousands of well-wishers. At the dockside, family and friends wait for the ship to dock. In the meantime, on the same day, HMS Richmond arrived to her own port of His Majesty's Naval Base Devonport in Plymouth, separate from the main body of the Carrier Strike Group. The Type 23 frigate provided vital anti-submarine operations and was welcomed home by waiting family and friends. Here back at Portsmouth, as the Type 45 frigate begins her docking procedures, family and friends are about to get a glimpse of their loved ones as the sailors line the ship deck. At approximately 12:50 on the 30th of November, HMS Prince of Wales came into view as she approached the shoreline of Southsea and entered the Solent. Her 8th mission nearly over as the mighty ship makes way ever closer to her home berth, the Princess Royal Jetty. Waiting for the ship's crew are dozens of family members. This archive drone footage shows the layout of Portsmouth Harbour and the location of the Princess Royal Jetty. The Norwegian frigate Roald Amundsen finally returned to her home port of Haakonsvern, Norway on December 9, 2025. The frigate was welcomed home by friends and families. It was noted by defence journalists how successful the integration of the Norwegian frigates into the UK Carrier Strike Group has demonstrated the ever-increasing Anglo-Norwegian naval cooperation. So this leaves just one ship from the Carrier Strike Group which has no recorded footage of returning home. That ship is the Royal Fleet Auxiliary Tidespring. Although she detached from the Carrier Strike Group several weeks ago, she actually remains on operations. Last seen near Singapore. Tidespring will not see UK shores until 2026. After returning from her major operation High Mast, HMS Prince of Wales is expected to shift focus on NATO duties in 2026. Thanks for watching.